says in the Quran, Kuntum khayra ummatin ukhrijat linnas. You, O Muslims, are the best ummah that has come forth for the people. Why are the Muslims said to be the best ummah? Because تأمرون الناس بالمعروف تأمرون بالمعروف وتنهون عن المنكر. Because you do أمر بالمعروف and you do نهي عن المنكر. You command to good, you forbid, you prohibit from that which is evil. This is one of the most important duties laid upon the Muslims as individuals, as a community. Now, who is the most important person that we must do Amr bil Ma'ruf to? You tell me, who is the most important person that I should do Amr bil Ma'ruf to? Myself. It is myself that I should start with, isn't it? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says this repeatedly in the Quran. أَتَأْمُرُونَ النَّاسَ بِالْبِرِّ وَتَنْسَوْنَ أَنفُسَكُمْ. That you command other people to good and you forget yourselves. يَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا لِمَ تَقُولُونَ مَا لَا تَفْعَلُونَ. All you who believe, why do you say that which you do not act upon? كَبُرَ مَقْتًا عِنْدَ اللَّهِ أَن تَقُولُوا مَا لَا تَفْعَلُونَ. It is a grave sin in the eyes of God that you say that which you do not act on. Start from yourselves. قُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ وَأَهْلِيكُمْ نَارًا. Protect yourselves from the fire. Keep yourselves away from the fire and your families. We should start with ourselves. We should start with our relatives, then our neighbors, then the strangers. Yeah. But first and foremost, one should start the Amr bil Ma'ruf with themselves. Now, how? How do we do Amr bil Ma'ruf to ourselves? What is the process? Of course, self-improvement, the elevation of one's own moral rank is the most important struggle that a Muslim faces. And we could talk about that, of course, so much. However, today we just want to say 3 practical steps on how to do Amr bil Ma'ruf to yourself. 3 practical steps. The first step is identification of the problem. Identify your own flaws. That is the most important step. Because if you do not identify the flaws, if you do not admit your own mistakes, there is never any hope in overcoming them. And that is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He swears by those who have managed to do that. He says, لَا أُقْسِمُ بِالنَّفْسِ اللَّوَّامَةِ. No, I swear by the soul that blames itself, meaning it has identified its own flaws and faults, and it blames itself for those flaws and those faults. So many people, they don't know their own flaws. They're not willing to admit their own flaws. This is very important, that I admit and I identify those problems. Second step is that I identify the triggers that lead me to engage in those flaws. Yeah? So if I know that when I sit with, for example, let's say my flaw is doing ghibah. I know when I sit with so-and-so person, when I go to such and such, I don't know, chat forum or social media, or when I go to this and this place, then I engage in this ghibah. I have now identified my trigger for that sin. Yeah? I have now identified what is the situation that brings me to that. That, once I have identified those triggers, when I am with such a person, I do these and these things. When I go to such and such person, I do these and these. When I'm in such and such situation, I do these and these things. I have identified now the triggers for my flaw. This brings me to the third step, which is then to remove myself from those situations which trigger me. If I know when I am with this and this person, I engage in this, and it happens time after time. I'm mentally keeping record. I'm trying to self-improve. So I've now kept track. I've thought to myself, I've written it down. Yes, I've noticed a pattern. Whenever I do this sin, it's because I'm with this person. 90% of the times I'm with this person, or I'm in that situation or so on. Once I've identified those triggers, now I should try to remove myself from those environments. I should remove myself from those situations, from those people. Take a distance. This is not good for me. This is not a healthy environment, atmosphere, or company for me. I need to remove myself from that. This will be the major help in abandoning and removing such flaws from oneself. This doing Amr bil Ma'aruf to oneself, to one's own family, starting with them, this is not something that is just on a personal level either. It is also on a communal level, on a social level, on an international level. This rule of thumb should be abided by. Meaning what? That a community should start with improving itself and removing its own flaws, and then pointing the finger of blame towards others. Yeah? We don't say you have to be perfect, but you should try, and you should start with yourself. You should start with your neighbors. Then move on to other countries and other societies and so on and so forth. I will give the example of France, which has been in the headlines quite a bit lately. Yeah? Now, there was a coup d'etat, those who have been following international, there was a coup d'etat in Mali, and the French government very arrogantly came and said, we don't recognize this government. Okay, fine, you don't recognize that government. But when they were asked to remove their soldiers, they very arrogantly came and said, we will not remove our soldiers from your country. When their ambassador was, it was demanded that they come and speak with the representatives of the new government, he refused, saying, I don't recognize you, and I will not come and meet you. When they said, you have to leave, they said, I will not leave. This incredible arrogance that a country thinks that it has the right to dictate what is supposed to be the government of another country. Yeah? Now, we might wonder why France is like this. Why is it behaving like this with another country? Yeah? There's coups d'etats all the time everywhere. Yeah? There was a coup d'etat a few years ago in Egypt. We didn't see any European country saying anything when Assisi rose to power through a coup d'etat. Yeah? Why is they behaving like this? The answer to that is, of course, we all know the answer to that. We all know the answer to that. The answer to that is that colonialism may have ended in name, but in reality it only changed its face, it only changed its shape and form. Colonialism is still a very much ongoing project. The colonialist mentality is still very much alive and well in the minds of many European countries. Yeah? Because this is what allows you to come and say to another country, you can't have this government. You must have a government that I agree with and that is following my dictates. This is a colonialist mentality. Why does France have soldiers in so many African countries still if colonialism ended? Why is it still dictating to those countries what kind of governments they should have if colonialism ended? In fact, it did not end, it only changed its shape and its form, its face. Yeah? Why is it that a country like France has the audacity to come and tell other countries that, why do you tell your women how to dress? And then it comes itself and passes law after law dictating to its own women how they should dress. Just a few days ago, France passed another law banning girls from wearing the abaya, the sort of covering dress in the schools, the jilbab, manto, whatever we want to call it. Yeah, in school they banned hijab long time ago. Of course, we all know that. And now they ban what? Loose-fitting clothing. Essentially, that is what abaya is. It's loose-fitting clothing. Yeah? So in other words, saying that no, you cannot. You have to dress in tight clothing. You have to reveal your body. Is it? Don't dress in something that covers your body. This is the dictates of France. Forget about France. Where are the Finnish politicians? Why do they not start their Amr bil Ma'aruf from their own European Union partner, from their own now NATO partner? Why do we not hear the voices of Finnish politicians? I don't want to talk to France. France is not my country. Why do our Finnish politicians, why do we not hear from them? Why is it when it's time to criticize Russia for meddling in the affairs of other countries, we hear the voices go up very loudly, but when it's France doing that, we suddenly see that no one says anything. Yeah? In fact, this is hypocrisy and this is wrong. We should demand such actions from our politicians. If Finland is really interested in upholding international law and order, it should begin so by talking to its own partners where it has more influence. It should begin so by demanding that from its own European Union and NATO partners. Unfortunately, I don't see the Finnish politicians having the spine and the wherewithal of doing that anytime soon. And it's much easier just to jump on a bandwagon and then stay silent when your own friends and partners are doing things that are obviously wrong. In any case, the point stands that when we want to do Amr bil Ma'ruf wa Nahy anil Munkar, we should start with ourselves, we should start with our families, we should start with our own communities, and then move on to others. And we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He will hasten the reappearance of our awaited Imam, so that he may fill this world that is filled with, that we have now filled with injustice and hypocrisy, that he may fill it with justice and order and goodness. ببركة الصلوات على محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل. قال الله تعالى في القرآن: كنتم خير أمة